I can't believe you actually made it here on time, I said, grinning at Aisha as she jogged across the campus lawn. You're lucky I didn't trip over my own feet, she replied, breathless, but her eyes sparkled. It's been a long day of lectures, you know. I'd walk 10 miles just to see that smile, I teased. Nudging her shoulder lightly, she laughed. And for a second, the world felt small, like it belonged only to us. You always say that, but I still like hearing it. I looked at her and felt a strange certainty. Aisha, do you ever think about the future? She tilted her head, curious. Future? You mean like after college? Yeah, I said. Where we go, what we do, everything. I want us to build something together, not just a life we stumble into. Her lips curled. I like that idea. I like it a lot, but it sounds scary. Are you sure you're ready for scary? I'm ready if you are. My voice was firm, almost too serious for our age, but I meant it. I don't want to wait. I don't want to waste time. She reached for my hand. Then we'll figure it out together, no matter what. That day, we promised each other everything: loyalty, love, and dreams. Nothing could shake us. At least, that's what I believed. After graduation, things got real fast. I started a small tech business with Daniel, my best friend since childhood. He was brilliant, but sometimes too confident for his own good. I've crunched the numbers, Daniel said one evening in our tiny office. If we push hard, we can get investors by next quarter. I leaned back, exhausted from another 14-hour day. You think we can really do it? He smirked. I don't think I know, and I've got your back always. Aisha appeared at the door, holding 2 cups of coffee. And don't forget about me, she said. I believe in both of you, even when you don't believe in yourselves. I smiled, taking the cup from her hands. You're my luck, Aisha. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do without you. Stop it. You'll make me blush in front of Daniel. She playfully punched my arm. I mean it, I insisted. Everything I'm building, it's for us. Not just me. Not just Daniel. For us, you. She nodded, eyes serious now. I know, and I'm proud of you. I'll stand by you no matter how hard it gets. And hard it got. Every day, I worked like a man-possessed emails at 2 a.m., calls through lunch, weekends lost to meetings. Aisha never complained, even when I canceled plans or forgot anniversaries. Hey, she said one night, brushing my hair back from my forehead. You need sleep. You're going to burn out. I can't, I replied, rubbing my eyes. Not until this works. Not until we're secure. I want you to have the life you deserve, Aisha. I'll do whatever it takes. She sighed, resting her head on my shoulder. I know, and I trust you. But promise me you'll still be here after all the work is done. I promise, I whispered. Always. We were young, ambitious, and blindly in love. I didn't realize then how fragile trust could be, or how quickly loyalty could crumble when temptation struck. At that moment, I believed love was unbreakable. I believed that as long as we worked together, nothing could touch us. Remember, Daniel said one evening, pacing our small office, this is just the beginning. You're going to look back and realize we were unstoppable. I laughed, though I was tired. If we're unstoppable, it's because of all 3 of us. You, me, and Aisha, we're a team. Exactly, Daniel agreed, and no one can break that. I watched Aisha smile, resting against my shoulder, and felt a rare peace. My heart told me that we were building more than a business. We were building a life. A future, a fortress of trust and dreams. Little did I know. That fortress was about to be tested in ways I couldn't even imagine. Aisha. Dinner's cold again, I said one night, setting my plate down next to hers. You've been working late a lot lately, she shrugged, barely looking at me. I've got deadlines, you know that. I can't just stop. I get it, I said, forcing a smile. But we never eat together anymore. She avoided my eyes. I'll make it up to you this weekend. I keep hearing that, I muttered, trying not to sound bitter. But weekends disappear too. She looked up finally, frowning. I can't just drop everything for you. You know my job's important too. I know, I said quickly, swallowing the frustration. I miss us. Daniel appeared at the office the next morning, grinning. "Hey man, you seen Aisha? She's stuck on the new client proposal." I offered to help. "Thanks," I said, trusting him completely. "I appreciate it." "She's lucky you've got someone like me," he added, smirking. "Can't leave everything to the boss, right?" I laughed awkwardly, shaking my head. "Yeah, guess not." Aisha called me that evening. "Hey, I'm late again." "Daniel stayed to help me." "Of course he did," I said, brushing it off. "Don't work too late." "I won't, I promise," she said. But her voice sounded distant. I told myself it was fine. She was busy. Daniel was just a friend. I should trust them both, but then I noticed small things. Aisha came home with new clothes I hadn't seen her buy. "Where did you get that?" I asked casually. "Oh, it was nothing," she said, tucking the tags under her bag. "Just a gift from a client." I nodded, trying to ignore the pit forming in my stomach. Her phone became a fortress. Messages popped up, but she quickly hid them when I walked by. "Aisha, why are you so secretive all of a sudden?" I asked one night. "I'm not." She snapped, though her eyes flicked to her screen. "I just need some space." "Space? From me?" I said, my voice trembling slightly. "Yes. I've got work. I've got stress. I can't be on your case all the time." I bit my tongue, refusing to escalate. I kept telling myself I was overreacting. She loved me. Daniel was my friend. Nothing was wrong. Still, the moments gnawed at me. Daniel's sly smiles when he passed by the office. The way Aisha laughed a little too long at his jokes. "Hey Daniel, you look smug," I said one morning. Trying to joke, he raised his eyebrows. "Me? Nah, just enjoying my coffee." I laughed, but my chest tightened. Something was off. I could feel it, even if I didn't want to admit it. One night, found myself staring at the empty living room, her perfume lingering on the couch. "Aisha, are you even here?" I whispered to the silence. I didn't want to hear the answer. I didn't want to see the truth, so I forced myself to believe her excuses, to trust Daniel's loyalty. I told myself the signs were coincidences. The new clothes? Innocent. The phone. Work-related. The late nights. Deadlines. "I just need to keep working," I said to myself, pacing the floor. She loves me. Daniel's my friend. Nothing can go wrong. But deep inside, I felt the cracks forming. I felt the glass of our life shattering silently, piece by piece. And every time I laughed it off, every time I ignored my gut, I buried a piece of certainty, a piece of trust, a piece of myself. I knew something was coming. I just didn't know how devastating it would be. I decided to leave the office early that night. "Aisha will be surprised," I muttered to myself, packing my laptop. Maybe she'll smile. Maybe everything's fine. The streetlights reflected off the wet pavement as I walked toward our apartment, imagining her sitting at the kitchen table, coffee in hand, waiting for me. My chest felt tight with anticipation. When I unlocked the door, a strange quiet filled the apartment. "Aisha?" I called softly. No answer. I stepped inside, the faint smell of perfume mixing with something else, something I didn't recognize. My heart beat faster, but I forced myself to stay calm. "She's probably just in the shower," I said. I crept toward the bedroom, the floorboards creaking under my weight. And then I saw them. Aisha lying against Daniel, her laughter muffled, her eyes sparkling in a way that once meant love for me. Daniel's hand rested where it should never have been. I froze. My chest tightened. My stomach dropped. My voice didn't work. "I couldn't breathe, Aish," I managed, my words cracking. Both of them scrambled upright, panic flashing across their faces. "Mike, it's not what it looks like." Aisha gasped. "Not what it looks like?" I finally found my voice, but it was hollow. "You're in our bed. With him." Daniel stammered. I mean, it just happened." "We didn't mean?" I repeated, voice rising despite my shaking hands. "Didn't mean? You're supposed to be the people I trust most." "You didn't mean?" Aisha grabbed my arm. "Mike, please, Dante, touch me." I snapped, pulling away. How could you? How could you do this to me? To us, it was a mistake. We didn't plan, Daniel said, his words fumbling, his arrogance gone. I trusted you. I yelled, my voice echoing off the walls. I gave everything, my time, my energy, my life, and this is what I get? Aisha's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't mean to hurt you. Not mean to hurt me? I echoed bitterly. Every night I stayed late working. Every sacrifice I made was for us. For you, and this is how you repay me. Daniel opened his mouth, but I cut him off. Save it. I don't want your excuses. I don't want your apologies. You've already destroyed everything. Aisha's sobs filled the room. Mike, I love you. I shook my head, stunned by the audacity. Love. You think love is an excuse for betrayal? You think I could believe that after this? They both tried to reach for me again, but I stepped back. My legs felt like lead, my vision blurred, my chest aching like it had been torn open. I can't, I whispered, my voice breaking. I can't even look at you right now. Aisha screamed my name, but I didn't respond. Daniel begged, Mike, wait. Just listen. We can fix this. I didn't. I turned and walked out silently. No slamming doors, no screams, nothing. Just the echo of my own shattered heart. The hallways felt endless, the night air biting at my skin. I wanted to run, to cry, to scream, but nothing came. My mind was blank. My soul was collapsing piece by piece. I wandered the streets numb as the reality sank in. Two people I trusted most had stabbed me in the chest simultaneously, and I didn't even have the strength to scream. Everything I believed, love, loyalty, trust was gone, pulverized. I was wrong, I whispered to the dark sky, my voice almost swallowed by the city noise. I thought it was unbreakable. I thought we were unbreakable. I was wrong. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Aisha's name flashed, pleading, but I ignored it. I couldn't face her. I couldn't face Daniel. I walked until my legs gave out, sitting on a bench under a flickering streetlight. The tears came finally, unbidden, scorching my cheeks. I realized that night that life could change in seconds. One choice, one moment of weakness, could obliterate years of love, trust, and effort. And in that moment, I felt nothing but emptiness. My heart was shattered, my faith in people destroyed, my innocence gone forever. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I simply walked away, carrying the weight of betrayal that no apology could ever erase. Aisha, why? I whispered, staring at her in the living room. I made a mistake, Mike, she said, tears rolling down her cheeks. Please, just talk to me. Listen. I scoffed, my voice hollow. You expect me to listen after everything? I know it sounds impossible, but I still love you, she pleaded, reaching for my hand. I yanked it away, love. Love doesn't happen in betrayal, Aisha. You know that. Daniel walked past the doorway, casual as if nothing happened. I'll get out of your way, man. No hard feelings, right? No hard feelings? I repeated, my voice breaking. You broke everything. He shrugged, avoiding my gaze. Mistakes happen. Can't change the past, can we? Past? That's your excuse? I spat. You destroyed our lives? Later at work, whispers followed me down the hall. Did you hear about Mike and Aisha? One employee murmured. Yeah, with Daniel, right? Another added quietly. I kept walking, pretending I didn't hear. Pretending didn't help. That night, my parents called. Mike, what's happening? Are you okay? I clenched the phone. I'm fine, I said, my voice trembling. Really? Fine. Son, we're worried. She and Daniel, it's so. Stop. Just stop, I snapped, hanging up. My body functioned, but my spirit felt hollow, empty, dead. I sat alone on the couch, staring at the empty space beside me. The smell of her perfume lingered, mocking me. I trusted you, both of you, I whispered into the dark. Why? Why me? I poured whiskey into a glass, the liquid burning my throat. Maybe this will help, I muttered. Swallowing another sip, the nights blurred together, skipping work, drinking too much, avoiding friends. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together, laughing, touching, smiling at each other while my world crumbled. Aisha, Daniel, why? I yelled one night, banging the table. Answer me. Silence. Only the echo of my own voice. I called Daniel once. We need to talk, I said, voice trembling. I don't think so, Mike, he replied casually. Nothing to talk about. Nothing to talk about? I shouted. You cheated with my wife? My life. How is that nothing? Come on, man. Move on. It's life, he said and hung up. I collapsed on the floor, feeling every piece of me shatter. My pride, my trust, my love it, all lay in fragments around me. I stared at the ceiling, trying to understand. Is this my life now? Pain, humiliation, loneliness. Every street I walked, every coffee I drank, every familiar place reminded me of them. Their laughter, their betrayal, their selfish smiles haunted me. I stopped answering calls, stopped going to work regularly, stopped caring. But deep inside, something stirred, spark in the darkness. I can't let this destroy me, I whispered one night, gripping the edge of the table. They think I'm broken, that I'm done, but they'll regret it. I began planning quietly, rebuilding in my mind what had been destroyed. Not for vengeance yet, not fully, but to rise again. To show them that betrayal might hurt, but it wouldn't kill me. I will get stronger, I said aloud, my voice firmer now. I will survive this. I'll take back control. And one day they'll see that they lost everything, and it wasn't me who failed. The pain remained, sharp and constant, but the hopelessness began to fade. For the first time since that night, I felt a shift to small, burning determination inside me. I may be shattered, I admitted quietly, but I am not finished. Not yet. And one day they will pay in ways they cannot imagine. I poured the rest of the whiskey down the sink, not out of sobriety, but out of choice. My focus shifted. I would rise, not as the man I was, but as someone stronger, colder, smarter, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of something that had been missing control, purpose, a reason to keep going. Mike, are you sure you want to go back? Daniel asked, leaning against the office door with that smug grin. I'm sure. I replied, voice steady, colder than before. I have work to do. You'll understand when you see the results. He laughed lightly. You don't need to prove anything to me or her. She's over you. Over me? I echoed, letting a small smile creep in. Funny, she signed the divorce papers yesterday. Seems like she's officially out of my life. Daniel's smirk faltered for a fraction of a second. Divorce, fine. It's just paperwork, Mike. Don't let it ruin you. It already tried, I said softly, but I decided it won't win. Not anymore. I focused on the company like never before. Every meeting, every call, every deal, I poured my energy into rebuilding what I thought I had lost forever. Mike. That client's asking for a discount again, one employee said hesitantly. I looked up sharp. No. We deliver value, not excuses. They either pay or leave. But they might take their business elsewhere, they argued. Then they weren't ours to keep, I said, voice firm. Do your job right, or we'll find someone who will. Daniel passed by, watching me with that arrogant gaze. Still acting like nothing happened, huh? You think I'm worried? I smiled faintly, leaning back. I don't need your worry. I have my own business to run. You? You just provide entertainment. He frowned, stepping closer. Entertainment. Yes, I said. Watching you struggle to keep up while I build something real, that's entertainment. Keep underestimating me suits you. I hired smarter employees, people who understood the vision and didn't bend under pressure. Every decision I made cut Daniel out, one invisible slice at a time. He didn't notice he never saw the knife until it was too late. Mike, do you think Daniel suspects? One of my new team asked. Not yet, I said calmly. And when he does, it won't matter. He'll already be behind. I attended meetings with confidence, letting Daniel speak first, then correcting him, exposing errors subtly. People began noticing. Investors whispered about his shortcuts. Clients complained about broken promises. One afternoon, Daniel stormed into my office. "Mike, you can't just watch me," I said, cutting him off. "I don't need your approval." I never did. He clenched his fists. "You were supposed to crumble. I thought you'd fall apart after everything." I leaned forward, voice icy. "I did fall. You just didn't see me get up. I fell to rise, Daniel. And rising means I decide who stays in my life and who falls out of it." He looked shocked, but I didn't stop. "Every lie you told, every shortcut, every betrayal, it's all coming to light. You thought arrogance would save you. It won't." Aisha called once. "Mike, I know you're angry, but I just want to talk. I interrupted, voice sharp. "We're done talking. We're done. You made your choices. I'm making mine." But she began. "Stop," I said. "Stop apologizing. Stop begging. The past is the past. I'm focused on building the future, and you're not part of it anymore." Days turned into weeks. My empire grew quietly. Daniel's mistakes multiplied in plain sight. I smiled at meetings, pretended to forgive, but every word, every nod, every handshake was a calculated move. My patience was a weapon. One evening, Daniel muttered under his breath, "I don't understand. How is he still standing?" I walked past him, voice soft but cutting, because I always planned to. Unlike you, I don't collapse at the first betrayal. I returned home late one night. The apartment was empty. No laughter, no arguments, no reminders of what I lost. Just silence. And that silence became my ally. "I am rising," I whispered to myself. "In every piece of you, Daniel, Aish hides all collateral damage in my comeback." For the first time since that night of betrayal, I felt power. Not vengeance yet. Not final. But the man they thought broken was no longer the same. I was sharper, colder, smarter, and most importantly, I was untouchable. I heard whispers first. "Did you hear about Daniel?" Another deal fell through. I sipped my coffee quietly. "I heard," I said, voice calm, pretending not to care. One of my employees leaned closer. "And Aisha? She's moving out of her apartment already." "Something about rent," I shrugged. "Sounds like karma's doing its job." Later, a call from an old client. "Mike, Daniel tried to pitch us again. He made the wrong promises. We're coming back to you." "Of course," I said, keeping my tone light. "We're happy to work with you," Aisha called one night. "Mike, I don't know how to fix this," she whispered, voice shaky. "Fix what?" I asked, calm, distant. "Your life? Daniel's life? It's falling apart. I can't." "Good," I said softly. "Maybe now you understand." I thought leaving you would be freedom. I didn't expect what?" I interrupted. "Consequences? Yes, I feel trapped. Everything is falling apart." "Welcome to reality," I said, sipping my drink. "You wanted the thrill, the escape. Now you live with the result." Daniel stormed past the office once. "Mike, this isn't fair." "I worked hard, I said, voice calm. "You lied, you cheated, you took shortcuts. That's your work. Don't blame me for what happens when the truth comes out." He clenched his fists. "I never thought you'd lose everything," I said, voice cold. "I just survived the betrayal and kept going. You didn't see it coming." I watched silently as their arguments began. One evening, Aisha called. "Daniel, we can't even pay the staff. What do we do?" I said softly to myself, "Do nothing. Let the choices speak for themselves." She sounded desperate. "Mike, please, I made a mistake." "I was wrong. Your mistakes aren't mine to fix," I said. "They're yours. Live with them." Every newspaper headline, every social media post about failed deals, Every disgruntled employee's one was a nail in their collective coffin. One day, a former investor emailed me. Mike, your competitor is collapsing. We want to increase our investment with you. You're the only one we trust now. Oh, I smiled faintly. Good, I murmured. They chose wrong. I didn't call. I didn't intervene. I simply let the world unfold as it would. Daniel's arrogance, Aisha's guilt, their shared recklessness, it all worked against them naturally. I walked past their old apartment one evening, unnoticed, and saw the empty windows, the broken furniture left behind. This is what happens when you take what isn't yours, I whispered. Aisha's voice called my name, distant and sorrowful. Mike, I wish I'd listened. I didn't know how to. Too late, I said quietly, walking on. Your time is past. Daniel tried contacting me several times. Mike, please, just one chance to explain. Explain what? I asked aloud, voice calm. Your betrayal? Your lies? Your arrogance? Just talk, he shouted one day outside my office. I looked at him, silent, letting the moment linger. Talk won't change what you've done, I said softly. It never will. And for the first time since that night of betrayal, I felt peace-awed dark, twisted sense of satisfaction. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to beg. I didn't need to interfere. The world itself was punishing them. And I could finally breathe again. Daniel appeared at my office door, nervously shifting his weight. Mike, I need your help. This contract is failing. We can fix it together, please. I leaned back in my chair, studying him. Together? After everything you've done? I know I messed up, okay? He said quickly, voice desperate. But I can make it right. Just, I need you. I paused, letting the silence stretch. You need me? I repeated, voice calm, almost chilling. After betraying me? After destroying my life? Please, Mike. I'm begging you. I shook my head slowly. No, his face fell. You're serious? Deadly serious, I said softly. You're on your own. You made your choices. Now live with them. He swallowed hard, words failing him. I thought I don't understand. Of course you don't, I said, voice low. You've never thought beyond yourself. That's why you failed. That's why everything is collapsing around you. Daniel turned and left, slamming the door behind him. I heard the anger in his footsteps, but I didn't flinch. Later that week, my phone rang. Aisha's name flashed across the screen. My chest tightened for a moment, then I answered. Mike, please, I need to see you, she said, voice trembling. See me? I asked, keeping my tone neutral. Why? I made a mistake. Daniel, he used me. I used you. I interrupted calm. I saw enough already. You made your choices. You know that? Tears filled her voice. I still love you. I was blind, but I can't stop thinking about you. I took a deep breath, suppressing any emotion. Aisha, love isn't a free pass for betrayal. You chose him. You broke what we had. That's on you, not me. I was weak. I didn't know what I was doing. She cried. I'm sorry. Please, just meet me once, Mike. Just talk. I closed my eyes, letting the weight of her words sink in. My pity stirred slightly. But love? That was gone. Fine, I said finally. One meeting. One, that's all. She gasped softly. Thank you so much. When she arrived, I could see the exhaustion in her eyes. The guilt carved into her features. I regret everything, she whispered, voice barely audible. Daniel, he manipulated me. I was a fool. But I still love you. I studied her carefully, remembering the nights I spent building a life with her. The sacrifices, the trust. My heart, once shattered, now beat with clarity. Aisha, pity is all I can offer. Love is gone. You had your chance. He had his chance. You blew it. Her tears fell silently. Please, can we at least be friends? I shook my head slowly. Even that I can't. Not after what you did. You're on your own now. you'll live with your mistakes. That's all life will give you. The power I felt was intoxicating. I no longer needed to plan revenge, no longer needed to manipulate or wait. The universe itself was dismantling the people who betrayed me. I don't want anything from you, said voice calm, almost gentle. Just leave my life. Let the consequences be your teacher. She nodded, sobbing quietly. I understand. I'll try. I watched her leave, the weight in my chest lifting with each step. No screams, no anger, no manipulation needed. Their downfall wasn't my responsibility anymore. It was their destiny, Daniel, frantic. Aisha, regretful. Both broken in ways I had only imagined. And me. I sat in my office, cold, sharp, untouchable. For the first time, I held all the power, and I didn't need revenge. Their misery, their fear, their helplessness, that was enough. Power, I whispered to myself, staring out the window. Not hatred, not anger, power, and now I have it. I poured a drink, smiling faintly to myself. The man who was betrayed had risen. The world was finally mine. The letters came first. Aisha's handwriting, messy, rushed, filled pages. I held the first one in my hands, reading the words aloud to myself. Mike, I was wrong. I betrayed you. I can't stop thinking about you. Please forgive me. I still love you. I tossed it onto the table. Forgive you? I muttered. After everything. The next day, another letter arrived. Mike, do you remember our dreams? The nights we stayed up talking about the future? I lost that. I lost you. I was a fool. I flipped it over, seeing lines of tears pressed into the paper. Memories don't undo betrayal, I whispered. Mike, please, just one more chance. She begged in another letter. I laughed quietly, cold. Chance. You had all the chances. You threw them away. I didn't write back. I didn't call. I didn't reply. The letters stacked up like a monument to mistakes. Meanwhile, Daniel's life unraveled. One morning, my assistant whispered, Mike Daniel's bar closed. Investors pulled out. He's drinking every night, missing meetings. I nodded, calm. Good. Let him fall. He made his choices. Later, someone else told me he's in debt. Employees are leaving. It's a mess. Not my problem, I said softly. He created this. I heard rumors of scandals, fights, public arguments. I watched silently from a distance, sipping coffee, attending meetings, continuing my life. They thought I would gloat, scream, retaliate, but One afternoon, my phone buzzed. Another letter from Aisha. Mike, please, if you read this. No, I regret every second. I can't live without you. I'm sorry. I stared at it, chest tightening. Then I picked up a lighter. This isn't for them, I whispered. Flames licked the edges of the paper. I watched as her words turned to ash. Each page a memory. Each apology, a chain breaking. I didn't read them fully. I didn't need to. The act itself was liberation. I stopped checking on Daniel. No more news, no more whispers, no more interference. His collapse was complete, his misery his own. One evening, someone asked me, "Don't you feel satisfied?" Seeing them suffer? I shook my head. Satisfied? No, that's not what this is about. It isn't. No, I said quietly. Revenge isn't about seeing them fall. It's about freeing myself. About letting go. About realizing I don't have to carry their mistakes. Aisha's letters stopped coming after a while. Daniel's calls stopped too. Silence settled around their lives like a shadow. I walked past their old apartment once, empty, the windows dark. I felt nothing. No gloating, no anger, no happiness. Just quiet. I realized that holding on to their pain would have chained me to them forever. Letting them live with their mistakes, letting karma unfold naturally, was enough. I made a final decision. I shredded the rest of the letters, letting them fall into the trash. Each page burned or torn was a weight lifted off my shoulders. You are free, I whispered to myself, voice soft but certain. And so am I. The world moved on. Business thrived. My life continued. The regret remained theirs. My peace remained mine. For the first time in years, I felt control, clarity, and freedom. Not revenge. Not satisfaction. Just nothing, and it was perfect. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, drinking in the man who stared back. "You survived," I whispered. A voice from behind the office door startled me. "Mike, are you ready for the meeting?" I turned, smiling faintly. "Yes, let's show them what we've built." My assistant nodded. "They don't know what's coming." Daniel wouldn't have expected this. "Exactly," I said. "They always underestimate the quiet ones." Later in the boardroom, investors leaned forward. "Mike, your growth is incredible. How did you turn things around so fast?" I smiled softly. I focused on the right priorities. Hard work, honesty, and vision. Sometimes, surviving betrayal teaches more than success ever could. One investor murmured, "It's almost like you're a completely different person." "I am," I said, "and I'm not done." I walked back to my office later, thinking aloud, I built this once, and I can do it again. But this time, it's for me. A colleague peeked in. "Mike, the team is asking if they can celebrate the milestone tonight." I chuckled lightly. "Of course, but not for anyone else. This is for us, for our effort, for surviving and thriving." That evening, as we gathered, someone whispered, "You seem different now, stronger, colder, almost untouchable." I nodded, sipping my drink. I had to be. Life doesn't wait for anyone. You either adapt, or it crushes you. One employee asked, Do you ever think about Aisha or Daniel?" I smiled faintly, voice calm. "I think about lessons, not people. Their choices shaped me, but they don't define me. I define me." Someone else hesitated. "So no desire for revenge?" "Revenge?" I echoed, tilting my head. I realized long ago that it wasn't about hurting them. It was about freeing myself. My peace doesn't need their suffering. Their downfall was enough. Later, walking home alone, the city lights reflecting in puddles, I muttered, "I'm stronger, but I'm also wiser. I've learned not to let anyone else's actions dictate my worth." I paused at a small park watching children play. Once, I built my dreams for someone else. Now, I build them for me. And that changes everything. My phone buzzed in, unknown number. I ignored it. "Not today," I whispered. At home, I stood by the window, looking at the skyline. I no longer need anyone to validate me. Love, friendship, loyalty, they are rewards, not requirements. I survived, and that is enough. A soft voice from my memory echoed, "Mike, don't lose yourself in the pain." I smiled faintly, voice low. I didn't lose myself. I found myself. I opened my laptop, reviewing plans for a new project. "Time to build again," I said aloud. For me, no compromises. No distractions. My assistant walked in. "Are you sure you don't want advice?" "I'm sure," I replied. I've learned to trust my instincts. My decisions now are mine alone. Later, I looked in the mirror once more. The lines on my face, the fire in my eyes, they weren't scars. They were proof. Proof of survival, proof of growth. Proof that I had endured the worst and still stood tall. Not a victim, I whispered. A survivor. I poured a glass of water, took a deep breath, and let the calm settle in. This is my new beginning. Stronger, smarter, and free. No one can take that from me. A colleague called from the hallway, "Mike ready to lead the team into the next chapter?" I smiled, voice steady. "Yes, it's our chapter now. Let's make it ours." And for the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. I heard through mutual contacts that Aisha was living alone now, struggling to pay her rent. "She's doing okay?" Someone asked hesitantly during a business lunch. I shrugged lightly. "Define okay," I said, keeping my voice neutral. Life has consequences. Later, a colleague mentioned Daniel. He's disappeared. No one can track him. Investors gave up. Employees left. It's like he vanished. I nodded, stirring my coffee. Let him. He chose his path. That's his story now. My phone buzzed with a message from an old friend. Mike, people are still talking about how you handled everything. No one would have blamed you for revenge. I leaned back in my chair, voice quiet. Revenge wasn't the goal. Survival was. The rest is just noise. One evening, I walked past a park bench where Aisha and I once sat. I whispered aloud, almost to myself, I hope you're learning from your mistakes. A passerby glanced at me, puzzled. I smiled faintly, ignoring them. Learning not mine to enforce. Freedom doesn't need supervision. I opened my office window, the city lights stretching out like a river of possibilities. Years ago, I wanted love to define me. I wanted loyalty to guarantee happiness. I was naive. I was weak. Not anymore, client called. Mike, are you free for a meeting? Yes, I replied calmly. Let's do it. Full focus. Later that evening, my assistant asked, don't you ever think about them? About how it all ended? I shook my head. No, that chapter is closed. My concern isn't their suffering. My concern is my life, my choices, my future. Someone else asked, but don't you feel satisfaction? Seeing them diminished. I smiled faintly. Satisfaction implies their misery changes anything for me. It doesn't. Freedom changes everything. Watching them fall is irrelevant now. At home, I poured a drink, leaning against the counter. I survived the lies, the betrayal, the heartbreak. And here I am, stronger, wiser, free. I thought back to the nights of despair, the letters from Aisha, Daniel's arrogance, the humiliation, the endless questions. I used to carry it all like a weight, I whispered. Now I release it. All of it. Soft memory whispered in my mind. Mike, don't lose yourself in the pain. I smiled, closing my eyes. I didn't. I found myself, and that's my victory. Later, someone called my office. Mike, are you attending the charity gala tonight? No, I replied. I have my own priorities. My life is mine to live, not theirs to observe. At night, I stood at the balcony, the cool wind brushing my face. Years ago, I would have screamed, demanded answers, sought revenge. Not now. I am beyond that. I am beyond them. I remembered their faces, the pain, the betrayal. But instead of anger, I felt calm. Goodbye, I whispered softly to the man I was. Goodbye to the pain that consumed me. Goodbye to the love that betrayed me. Aisha's mistakes, Daniel's failures, they existed in their own worlds. I didn't track them. I didn't intervene. I didn't need to. I poured the last sip of wine into the sink, letting it swirl away. This is closure, I murmured. Not revenge. Not regret, freedom. I stood there, eyes closed, letting the silence settle. No celebration, no gloating, no tears. Just me, breathing, living, finally free. The city lights flickered, alive, like a heartbeat. And I whispered one last thought aloud. The greatest victory isn't watching them fall. It's learning to rise. And I have risen. I opened my eyes, looking out at the horizon. The past was gone. The future was mine. And for the first time in years, I felt whole.